Robinson Crusoe puts his house in order. I had now been on the island for a year, as I could tell by the marks on my post. In that part of the world there was no winter or summer, as we have in England, but there was the dry time and the wet time. It rained for 2 months, then it was fine for 4 months, and then it was wet again for 2 months, and once more fine for 4 months. When the rain was over, I paid a visit to my other house, where I saw that the stakes with which I had made the fence all grew up into young trees, so that in a year or 2 they would make quite a house of leaves and shade. When I saw this, I went to work to plant some of the same trees round the wall of my tent, that I might be still more shut up. As I now knew the rain would come, I took care to get my foot in when it was fine, and while it was wet, I made things in my cave. Some of these were baskets which I made of the twigs. These were of great use to me to keep or carry things in. One day I went right across to the seashore on the west side of the island, from which place I could see the land not very far off. I could not tell what place it might be, but I thought it must be where the savages lived, so I felt very glad that I was not cast upon that shore. One day I caught a young parrot and took it home with me. I taught it to speak, and it learnt to call me by my name in a very clear way. One day my dog ran into a young kid and hurt it, so I took it from him and led it home with us. It grew to be so tame and fond of me that I kept it. When I came back to my tent from my long walks, I was glad to lie down in bed. Then I thought what a good home I had made and how much I had to thank fate. At this time, my rice and barley gave signs of a nice crop, but I found out that there were thieves who would rob me of it. First came the wild goats, who ate it so close that it got spoiled. So I had to build a fence all round to keep the goats out, and I set my dog to guard it all night. Thus I got rid of the thieves, who soon would not dare to come near the place. But when the corn gave ears, all the birds flew round and pecked at it, till I saw they would soon leave me none. I got my gun and fired at them, which gave them a great scare and sent them off. But as soon as I had gone, they all flew back in a cloud and went to peck at my corn. Then I was at a loss what to do, till at last I thought of a plan by which I might save my crop. I shot 3 of the birds and hung the dead birds in a stick to warn all the rest that their fate might be the same if they came near. This frightened them so much that they would not come into that part of the land at all. I was glad of this, you may be sure. When my corn was ripe, at first I did not know how to reap it, as I had nothing to cut it down with. It was then that the swords I had brought from the ship served me, for I used one of these to reap my corn. As my next care was to get some more land in which to sow fresh seeds, I made a spade, as best I could, out of some very hard wood. With this, I was just able to turn up the earth. When all this was done, the rain fell, and I had to work in my cave once more. There I made some jugs out of clay. It would have made you pity me and laugh too, if you could have seen the ugly things I made. But at last, after much care and pain, I had 2 large clay jars, which I dried hard in the sun. In these I kept my food. I also made some small round pots and dishes. Though these jars would hold things dry, yet they could not be put over the fire to boil water in. I very much needed one in which I could boil water, for I wanted to have some broth as a change from roast meat. In time, I found a way to do this. I had made a large fire to cook my food, and when I put it out, I saw a piece of one of my clay dishes in the ashes, burnt hard as a stone and red as a tile. So, said I, if a piece will burn so hard, a whole jar will do the same. And I went at once to work and made a great fire round 3 large jars till they were red hot. I let them burn all night, and next day I had some pots as hard as could be, in which I could boil some meat and make broth. I was full of joy at this, for it was what I needed most of all. When this was done, I was not idle, for I made a deep round dish out of very hard wood, and also a great beater with which to pound my corn into flour. To sift my meal from the bran and husks, I used some muslin that I found in one of the chests that I had got from the ship. Then how was I to bake my bread without an oven? The hearth of my fire was made of clay tiles. When the wood was red hot, I pushed it on to the hearth, and there I let it lie till the place was very hot. I then took the wood off and put my loaves down. Over these I put one of my large clay pots, and round the pot I made a fire. Thus I baked my bread as well as in the best oven in the world. In the same way did I bake some cakes of rice.